Hello, hello. This is my second one, so hopefully it's better than the first one, but it's your first one, so welcome. My name is Mike Ciosi. I'm the president here at Rowan College in Burlington County. After 14 months of working from my basement, homeschooling my children, and leading a college in which the vast majority of people were at home, it feels pretty incredible to say, welcome to Rowan College at Burlington County. And let me just say, the graduates look great from this vantage point. So it is a welcome sight to see our beautiful campus full of energy, full of excitement, and full of people. I mean, we were chasing geese away for like 2 months back in April and May of last year. So people, definitely better than geese. I'm glad that you could join us to give our graduates the recognition that they deserve, both the class of 2021 and the class of 2020, who have waited a full year for this day to come. So congratulations. Some house cleaning. As a reminder, today's ceremony is being live streamed online, so instructions are on the college's website, rcbc.edu, if you want to send a quick text to someone who may not be able to be here in person. Today is one of 5 live ceremonies that we are conducting this week. Each one's going to have a little different look and different feel. And that's okay, because doesn't everything feel a little bit different these days? We have made it, but we're here to celebrate our graduates. I would ask that you please remain standing for a moment, as I would like to take a moment of reflection to either say a prayer remember a loved one, or just appreciate your personal trail that has led to this day. Thank you. You may now be seated. I thought it was important to begin with a moment of reflection because there has definitely been a lot to think about over the last 14 months. Our world has changed, but nothing can take away the accomplishments of our students. Earning a college degree is difficult enough when balancing the many priorities that we all have, such as career, family. But the graduates today had to figure out how to do that amidst a pandemic, when someone might be sick, a young child might be struggling to adapt to online learning, or you couldn't remember if your next meeting was going to be on Zoom, WebEx, or Google Meet. It's easy to think of experiences that we might have lost over the past year. I personally have preferred to look at what we have gained. We have all gained the self-confidence and empowerment of overcoming an unprecedented, generation-defining moment in our lives. Our students, our faculty, and our staff reinvented how we work and learn with flexibility, patience, and good nature. We have reimagined the meaning of community as we have adapted to a digital community more quickly than I think any of us anticipated. We have helped each other, whether it was students helping each other study online, faculty members giving a struggling student their personal cell phone number, or our nursing students who started the pandemic volunteering at COVID testing sites and are now volunteering at COVID vaccine sites. You know, some of us took up hobbies over the last year. Some of us baked bread. Some of us didn't have, 5 free minutes to do any of the above. But the graduates in front of us and the graduates that will be in front of us the rest of the week future-proofed their careers. So, this is a day for you guys. I am not charging extra for the perfect weather, and I do recognize that you're all wearing black. So I promise that we will have you up on stage in 3.5 hours. Kidding. This has clearly been a difficult time on a million different levels. But I'm going to emerge with a greater sense of appreciation for family, community, and our ability to persevere. I hope you share some of my pride and optimism inherent in both the class of 2021 and the class of 2020, who we invited to participate in this week's ceremonies. In fact, I would like to single out our class of 2020 graduates. Waiting a year for anything creates some complexity. So I would ask for a round of applause for this class and the patience that they have exhibited. I would also be remiss if I didn't acknowledge the appreciation I have for some of the special guests, both seated behind me and in the front row to my left, all socially distanced, of course. So some of these folks you're going to hear from, they're going to speak, and I hope you all are wearing 2 pairs of socks because they're going to knock at least one of the pairs off, if I don't first. The class of 2021 Valedictorian Nicole Ceballos. Today's keynote speaker, Lavett Ballard. Burlington County Commissioner, Rcbc alum, and Rcbc parent and friend of mine, Linda Hines. Another friend of mine, one of the college's trustee members, Dorian Morgan. And one of the key members of my senior leadership team and cabinet, Senior Vice President and Provost, Dr. David Spang. And also in our VIP section, we have another member of my cabinet, Vice President for Workforce Development, Anna Peonzo-Cotton. And another friend from one of our partners, Wilmington University, Dr. Jacqueline Barcelona. And maybe most important to me is that young lady in the pink who I call my wife. So thank you for keeping me sane over the last year. and dealing with our 4 children. But back to the real VIPs of the day, our graduates. Your degree certifies that you possess knowledge and mastery of skills. Your degree earned amid a pandemic certifies your character and work ethic. It's a badge of honor that you can proudly show to the world as proof that you are career ready, crisis tested, and one tough Baron. As you move forward, I do have one request to help the next generation of Barons. So you see signs throughout the quad here that hopefully you're going to take some selfies in front of and post to Instagram and Snapchat and MySpace. Is MySpace still a thing? I don't know, maybe not. But the RCBC Foundation is what I want to highlight here. So this year alone, they provided $165,000 in scholarships to many of the folks in the audience today, with a shared goal of making a high-quality education accessible to all. This financial assistance benefited, hundreds of students, and I would like to take a moment to remember the help that all of us have received along the way, and if you're able to, pay it forward with a gift of $20.21 in honor of our graduates. So, if you text RCBC to 71777, you can find out more there, or you can visit us online, rcbc.edu/foundation. We are inching closer to our goal of this year, so hopefully you all have an opportunity to visit that page. Now we're going to hear from a very impressive Baron. What kind of grades do you think you would have to get if you had to start college in a new country where you barely spoke the language? If you are Nicole Angelica Ceballos Gonzalez, you would get all A's and earn designation as the class of 2021 valedictorian. After coming to America from Panama to be an au pair, Nicole started at RCBC in our ESL program. And within 4 years, is graduating with degrees in education and music with a perfect 4.0 GPA. I was thanking her, and then she was getting up. As you're going to hear, Nicole comes from a humble but happy beginning and is inspired to complete her degree at Rowan University and focus her career on addressing equity gaps in education. I would like to welcome Nicole in her native language, but my Spanish is a bit rusty. So here goes. Por favor, denle la bienvenida y únese a mí para felicitar a una graduada muy especial, la valedictorian de la promoción 2021, Nicole Angelica Ceballos Gonzalez.
Hi, my name is Nicole. I don't speak English. Where is the bathroom? 4 years ago, that was the only English I speak. And I asked where the bathroom was so I could have an excuse to leave. I didn't want people to know that was the only English I knew. Now, I know where all the bathrooms are. And now, I don't want to leave. Felicidades a todos los graduandos del 2021. My name is Nicole Angelica Ceballos Gonzalez. I was born and raised in a small town in the country of Panama. I grew up with no internet, no running water, and I had to walk 30 minutes to go to school every day. But I was lucky. Some of my friends had to walk more than 2 hours to go to school. But I was the happiest child ever. I didn't know what I didn't have. My parents had the opportunity to graduate from high school, but they never went to college. But they wanted the best for me and my sisters. They worked hard because they wanted us to have the opportunity they never had. For every school uniform, shoes, notebook, pencil we had, they worked hard for it. They taught my sisters and me not to wait for opportunity to find us, but for us to go out and find opportunity. They believed we could achieve great things. Indeed, God has blessed me and taken me to places that seem impossible. 4 years ago, on January 9, 2017, I took my first plane ride to New York City in the middle of a snowstorm. Plus, the taxi dropped me off at the wrong building, and I had to walk a quarter of a mile through snow carrying a heavy suitcase. I thought I was going to freeze to death, and that was my first experience with snow. Who would have thought winter would become my favorite season? I came as an au pair to live with an American family I didn't know and take care of their 2 little boys. And the first thing my host family did was bring me to Rcbc to take classes. And I thought, what? Are they locos? I can't even speak English. My host family is here today, and I will ask my host mom to say something, but she's a nurse anesthesiologist, and she will probably just put you to sleep. But really, I am so grateful to them for making me a part of their family and making it possible for me to attend a great school like Rcbc. Anyway, thank goodness my first class was a music class. It was a jazz ensemble. Though I could not communicate with my professor, neither my classmates, I was able to communicate through my music. I believe music can communicate and reach people in a way nothing else can. My goal is to continue my education as teacher for inclusive students and be a pioneer for teaching strategies that will give special needs students a tool for communicating and learning through music. I was not a special education student, but I sure felt like one that first semester. Music gave me a safe environment, and I believe music can be a safe environment for my students and allow them to grow and achieve their dreams regardless of their ability. It has not been easy. I'm not gonna lie. I have had to face many barriers as an international student, but I am so thankful and I feel so blessed that God has put wonderful people in my life to help me. And today I have the opportunity to receive a great education. I am thankful for the access to many resources this country offers, such as the internet, books, libraries, and professors passionate about what they teach and seeing their students grow and achieve their goals, especially here at Rcbc. I am a first-generation college student in my family, and thanks to technology, although my parents still don't have internet in the house, they have internet through their phones. So when I was a baby, they held me in their hands. Now they are holding me in their hands again, but this time listening to me as valedictorian giving a speech to this wonderful graduating class at Rcbc. I want to give to my parents what they gave me and more, but not just to my parents, to all those children anywhere in the world who perhaps think for whatever reason they cannot do it. Words cannot express how thankful I am, but in Spanish I could say it better. Los sacrificios, el esfuerzo y el arduo trabajo valieron la pena. Hoy puedo decir con gran satisfacción que alcancé un triunfo significativo en mi vida. Me gradué, nos graduamos. This means all the sacrifices and hard work paid off. When I came to this country 4 years ago, I did not want to participate in classes because I felt embarrassed. I was afraid people will not understand me and that they will get frustrated with me. But I did not let that fear keep me from trying. And the more I tried, the better I got. And I stand here before you to say, do not be afraid to try. Do not be afraid to fail. Do not be afraid of what others will think of you. Because the more you try at whatever you do, the better you will be. Our world now more than ever needs people that will keep trying, no matter what.
Let's hear it for Nicole. Awesome job. Awesome job. So, among the many logistical challenges of planning commencement during a pandemic was also how to handle a keynote speaker without imposing on one person to speak 12 times. Except for me. I have to do all of these. What's up with that? I'm kidding. So, instead of imposing on just one great speaker, luckily we were able to identify 6 whose collective stories really serve as a time capsule of some of the year's most powerful themes: COVID, racial equity, social justice, democracy, and continuing education throughout a pandemic. Today's speaker can speak to just about all of those themes. She's an artist whose work primarily involves the African American experience. She's a college professor who taught throughout the pandemic. And most importantly, she's an RCBC alum whose work as an artist is nationally significant. Black Art in America named her one of the top 10 female emerging artists to collect. Her work has been purchased by celebrities such as Jill Scott, Grant Hill, and CCH Pounder. And based on the conversation we were having a little bit ago, that list is going to continue to grow. 3 universities have displayed her work in solo exhibitions, and I'm proud to say that RCBC has some of her earliest works in the collection. So, ka-ching, Time Magazine commissioned her to do a cover as part of their 100 Women of the Year initiative last March. Please welcome a very impressive RCBC alum, Lavett Ballard.
Hey, everybody. Y'all should be more excited. I know it's hot out there, but we should be hearing like, hey. That's right. Okay. I want to say thank you so much to RCBC for inviting me back here. So much has changed. Like, it's so bigger. It's like a big ribbon on everything. Thank you, President Ceballos. And all those here who encouraged me to come and speak to you for a small moment and hopefully give you some inspiration, because I know right now you're excited, nervous, and ready to go home all in one time. So most importantly to the graduates, let me say, enjoy this moment. I mean, you should be feeling like you just got a free ticket to Coachella, okay? If no one else has told you today, you are the heroes and heroines in your own action movie titled How I Survived 2020 through 21 while the entire world turned upside down. Let's not forget a big hand to the families and friends for their support, helping you to get here and directing you where you need to be when you needed to be there. And sometimes even offering that unsolicited yet very necessary advice and direction that we all need at one time or another in our lives. Most of all, you probably don't know much about me besides what was just told to you. But let me tell you, 2010, I so wanted to be in your seats. I was so close. I had spent 3 years here at RCBC, at that time BCC. I walked through Laurel Hall, nervous, scared. My best friend, my husband, who had encouraged this North Jersey girl who had transplanted to Burlington County and who was recently married, only about a few years, with a toddler, everything else going on, trying to work, take care of a household, and a husband. Those out there understand my pain, okay? You need to go back to school because you're doing this art thing on the side and you need more. And I didn't understand what more meant. So I came in, and either your way coming into those doors was you walked through those doors because you had a plan, or were told this is going to be your plan, or you were living out someone else's plan for you. We all were scared. We all were excited. And in my case, I was trying to do just unfinished business. You see, when I graduated high school, only about 20 years before, I had gotten into all my dream schools, literally every single one. Every art school I applied to, I got into. And I had plans to be a famous artist. But now, I was a mom and a wife who was in her 30s, going back to school. Nah, that wasn't going to happen no more. So I had to change my plans. And as the great Dolly Parton says, we cannot direct the wind, but we can adjust the sails. So I readjusted my sails to adulting because I had a teenager from being a single mom, from partying a little bit too much. I had a toddler and my husband. And I decided that adulting was not a membership I wanted to be in. So I decided to be a real adult, to learn, to take in everything that RCBC was giving me, to listen to the teachers, to sign up for classes just because, not because I necessarily wanted to, but because it interested me. So I took a lot of art history. I took some classes in gender studies, you name it, I took it. And then I hit the wall. And this is why I say I wanted to be where you were at. I hit the wall because, well, in my story, my arch enemy, college math. We all have had that arch enemy. I took college math, no lie, right here on this campus 4 times. Failed it 4 times. I said, okay, Mom, I'm not graduating this spring. Honey, the money we spent is not for in the toilet, but I got to transfer. So I transferred to Rutgers in Camden. And I spent another 3 years figuring it out. What am I going to do? And I realized there that I wasn't too late to be an artist. I was meeting the right people, getting the right connections. I was learning more about museum studies and African American studies and all of these other things. And once again, that arch enemy, math, rose up. And I almost didn't graduate, y'all. I was really close. And then an insightful teacher, as most of your teachers are, really looked at what I was doing, and she said to me, you know, I think you have something called dyscalculia. For those of you that have never heard of this is a math disability. And it's actually more prevalent to women, whereas dyslexia is more prevalent to men. So all those years that you were told, girls, oh, you just have to work harder because math isn't for you. It was kind of true, but it wasn't. It just means your brain thinks differently. So they diagnosed me. They gave me the courses I needed, and I beat math's butts. Of course, I took statistics because college math still wasn't working for me, though. So, graduated, and now I was once again in that same space. I donned my robe, I moved my tassel, and I realized, now what I'm going to do? I got a degree in art. What are you going to do with a degree in art? I mean, I'm good, but I'm not great. So I went on and applied to grad school, thinking I could be like my professors at RCBC. I can teach. And lo and behold, I got really good. And I met the right people. I met artists and celebrities. And next thing I know, I'm getting write-ups in places like the New York Times and the Philadelphia Inquirer. And then I graduated with my thesis, and it blew up. And I wasn't ready. And I say all this because you are all in the same place. You're all at that point where things happened all these last year and a half where you were like, why am I doing this? I want to give up. It's too much. I don't even know what I'm doing after I graduate. That's okay. You're not going to know what to do. And that's fine if you do know what to do, because that might even change. All of these situations are making you stronger. You are one of the only generations I know in my lifetime that can say to your grandparents and great-grandparents, remember that story you told me about walking through the snow in 6 feet and it was too hot or too cold at school? I got you beat. I went to school through a worldwide pandemic and learned how to teach myself online. So you are heroes, you're superheroes. And think of that when you're going on to your next step. And don't worry about getting it right, because you're not going to get it right. You have to realize living with new beginnings means living with ambiguity. It seems scary, but it's so exciting. And also realize that as you go through your life, all of these are lessons. The people you lose along the way, friends, family, they're always with you. They're always encouraging you. Last year, I was supposed to have a big show, a solo exhibit at Syracuse University, one of my first huge solos. And at the same time, I was supposed to have the cover of Time magazine release. Within 3 months, I had my show pushed back, the Time magazine cover dropped, calls from Good Morning America and everything dropped because all of a sudden we had a pandemic. And then I lost my mom to cancer. Her last words were, "I'm proud of you." And I remember when I was younger, sitting with my grandmother and my mom around the kitchen table and listening to those stories. That's what made me decide to name this show in her honor, called Stories My Grandmother Told Me. Because I realized at that moment that there was the best information and clue to how to live my life, and I've lived it every day since. And before that, I was doing it and didn't realize it. And I'm going to leave that with you as I close. 1, the class of 2021 and 20 realized that, unlike any other class, that you have to get through the bitter of life to appreciate the sweet. And as my mother and my grandmother used to say, opportunities lost are never forgotten. So make the most of them when they arrive. And that is the true key to success. Make the most of everything you encounter. Thank you.
I'm proud of her too, right? Come on. Levette, thank you for the example that you shared and set for our students, graduates. She's made a huge impact on the national art scene. I have every confidence that you have the ability to follow your passion towards similar acclaim. Now, typically, we invite keynote speakers and I give them honorary degrees, but not today. So if you were paying attention in Levette's story, she transferred to Rutgers before she had satisfied the degree requirements here at RCBC. She had accumulated enough credits. So through applying her credits from Rutgers and the University of the Arts in Philadelphia, this is not an honorary degree that I'm about to share with her. A decade later, failing math and then kicking its butt somewhere else down the street, I am thrilled to be able to present you with an RCBC Associate's degree that you have rightfully earned, my friend. And from what I know about you, you will be just as proud of this one as you are of your 2 bachelor's degrees and your master's degree. So.
Can I get a seat?
Can you get a seat? Okay. I think we're all sort of officially ready to close the book on 2020, right? I mean, it happened on the calendar, but let's put that year to bed. Let's celebrate and recognize the individual members of both the classes of 2020 and the class of 2021 who have been identified as candidates for graduation. Normally, the Board of Trustees here at the college would ceremonially confer the candidates on stage, but this occurred previously in a pre-non-COVID world. So another COVID protocol that we're introducing this year is Touchless Pickup. So when graduates come to the stage, they will pick up their diploma shell to my left, stand on the feet up here that none of you can see yet, but there's feet, and we have a photographer down sweating in the sun right in front of me. So I will ask the ushers to escort the candidates to the stage, and just remember to keep yourself 6 feet separated from the person in front of you.
Nia N. Mendez, Associates of Arts and Associates of Science. Michelle Berry Good, Associate of Applied Science. Naisha C. Citron, Associate of Applied Science. Priscilla Poole, Associate of Science. Deborah Kelso, Associate of Science, dual degree honors. Victoria E. Habel, Associate of Science. Kaylee M. Hawthorne, Associate of Arts. Juliana Simisi, Honors, Associate of Arts. Irina Boyko, Associate of Applied Science, highest honors. Nicholas A. Dannenfelser, Associate of Arts. Catherine D. Matthews, Associate of Applied Science. Danielle Blake, Associate of Applied Science. Rachel L. Austin, Associate of Arts and Associate of Science. Courtney D. Long, Associate of Applied Science. Adam Farhat, Associate of Arts and Associate of Science. Nicole Ceballos, Associate of Arts. Michelle N. Ross, Associate of Science, dual degree, honors. Jennifer C. Ross, Associate of Arts. Shakia S. Williams, Associate of Arts and Associate of Science. Allison V. Byers, Associate of Arts. Michelle A. Kleska, Associate of Arts, High Honors. Alexis G. Dudley, Associates of Art, Associate of Applied Science. Taylor Kessler, Associate of Applied Science. Melisina Fisher Clubb, Associate's Degree, Honors. Courtney A. Thorne, Associate of Science. Skylar T. Goodconnect, Associate of Arts and Associate of Science. Paige B. Spear, Associate of Applied Science. Miranda L. Seguin, Associate of Applied Science. Gerald R. Logan, Associate of Arts and Associate of Science, High Honors. Kelsey A. Moss, Associate of Arts and Associate of Applied Science. Anna D. R. Roberte, Associate of Arts and Associate of Science, High Honors. Jamie L. Gontowski, Associate of Science, dual degree. Cherie K. McLaurin, Associate of Arts. Zachary M. Bonto, Associate of Arts and Associate of Science. Madge Thuronier, Second, Associate of Science, Honors. Osi Tamada M. Okoya, Associate of Science. Destiny L. Perry, Associate of Arts and Associate of Science. Kenneth C. Morgan, Jr., Associate of Science. Alyssa E. Griffith, Associate of Arts. Taylor N. Smith, Associate of Arts. Jalen M. Doyle, Associate of Science. Kiana N. Holmes, Associate of Arts. Grace E. Lang, Associate of Arts. Dominica A. Rosati, Associate of Science. Christopher A. Peart, Associate of Fine Arts. Isleni J. Alvarado, Associate of Science. Jordan E. Borden, Associate of Arts and Associate of Science. Maria Y. Sokolovskia, Associate of Arts. Deidra R. Legal, Associate of Applied Science. Lorraine M. McEwen, Associate of Applied Science. Madison J. Patty, Associate of Applied Science. Ivy C. Skaggs, Associate of Arts, High Honors. Nicolette L. Pataccio, Associate of Arts. Stephen A. Morales, Associate of Arts. Michaela Reinick, Associate of Arts. Lindsay J. Terrell, Associate of Arts. Rosetta S. Briscoe, Associate of Arts and Associate of Science. Aaron M. Finter, Associate of Applied Science, dual degree. Audrey Friel, Associate of Applied Science. Christian J. Millard, Associate of Arts. Jasmine Muse, Associate of Applied Science. Zach J. Morgan, Associate of Science. Heather Ledley, Associate of Arts and Associate of Science. Stephanie M. Contino, Associate of Arts, highest honors. Fatma Dosmo, Associate of Science. Madeline E. Bentz, Associate of Arts. Cara L. McMullen, Associate of Science, dual degree. Helen Kimmy, Associate of Arts. Monique N. Kelly, Associate of Arts, Associate of Science. Simone N. Knox, Associate of Arts. Emily J. Bowen, Associate of Arts and Associate of Science, honors. Lula M. Wilson, Associate of Applied Science. Charlea D. Linton, Associate of Arts and Associate of Science. Markia A. Sykes, Associate of Arts and Associate of Science. Kennedy N. Vasquez, Associate of Science, Associate of Applied Science, honors. Katerina Zotek, Associate of Arts, high honors. Elena S. Bosquio, Associate of Arts. Brittany LaPree Williams, Associate of Science. Vivian Fernandez Santos, Associate of Arts, honors. Flavia Lorenzato, Associate of Science. Jane C. Cheeslow, Associate of Science, highest honors. Chidioka Okei, Associate of Arts. Harmony M. Harris, Associate of Arts.
How about a round of applause for the Dean, Dr. Vandergrift, for reading all those names? No one fell either, so congrats to all of you. But congratulations to the members of the class of 2020 and to the members of the class of 2021. Graduates, you may now move your tassels from your right to your left. Before we conclude, look, the weather, I'm going to take all the credit for the weather, so you're welcome. But I do want to thank the people who made this day such a success. Our Jimmy, Matt, our facilities team, our public safety team, Andy and his guys and girls, student life, John, everybody in between, all of those groups. This is such a well-oiled machine. There's a lot of stuff that goes into the planning of this. Marketing and the scripting and the AV team who's recording this, and there's a lot of behind the scenes stuff. So thank you to all of them. I want to applaud the faculty who have worked tirelessly to prepare the next generation of leaders in front of me. I want to thank all the people on the other side, that the family, the friends, the boyfriends, the girlfriends, the wives, the children, the husbands, the neighbors, The support that you provided our graduates every step of their long journey is critical to why we're all here celebrating today. And of course, one final round of applause for the graduates. Congratulations on your accomplishments. As we conclude today's ceremony, I ask that our guests please remain standing at your seats while the platform exits, our faculty and staff, and then graduates exit out of the quad. So have fun. Woo!